right in and get yourself a good center line. This is what makes the whole thing work. This line right here, which is carried all the way through the guitar. You have to know what scale guitar you're wanting to build. There's multiple out there. I like a 25.5 because I like 24 frets. So let's go with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here. That's going to be our nut. Now to do 24 or 25.5 to get your 12th fret position, you need to come down to 12.5 is 25. Half of 20, half of a half is a quarter. So we're going to go 12 3/4. Boy, I made that really harder than it was. So you're going to take 25.5 and divide it in half. So that's 12 3/4 from the nut to the 12th fret. So this is our 12th fret position here. Then we're going to take another 12 3/4, and this is where your bridge is going to hit. This is the saddle. So this is your scale length. So now if we take this and we go up here, we go there, we go there, 25.5 dead on it, 12 3/4 in the middle. So these are our points that we can get started with. I'm sorry, I keep calling this a compass. This is a protractor. You need a good protractor. I chose this one because it has, you can't see what I'm looking at here, but it has lines here as well as a dot that I can see my line, and then it also has lines up here, so I can have 3 or 4 points of reference to make sure that I'm square. So go down here to where your bridge is, make all your lines line up. So I'm going my mark here, but then I'm going line, I see the line, 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 everything is there. So I should be pretty daggone close to square right there. We're going to come up here, we're going to do the same thing. This is your 12th fret, so let's go ahead and knock it out. Let's get our lines all together there. There's your 12th fret. Let's go up here, let's do the nut. Get our lines all together, there we go. And there's our nut. So I always like to make notes. So scale is 25.5 inches. Some guys do that in metric. I do it in inches. There's our end of fretboard, guys. So now we've got our fretboard laid out. Let's go ahead and mark that. Let's get all of our lines lined up. This is why an instrument like this or a tool like this is so important. Now, this is not a fantastic tool. This is just an inexpensive one that I bought at Walmart. But like I said, if it didn't have all these points of reference, I probably wouldn't have bought it. What I really am waiting on is one that I bought from Rockler, and it's a precision protractor, and that piece of equipment has a lot more visual points of reference and stuff, so that way you can make sure your lines are dead spot on. So we're gonna hopefully get that in here soon. So next thing we need to do is we always start with the neck. I like these necks. I like the feel of it. This is a knockoff of a Jackson. These have good spacing and stuff on them. They're 24 fret. They seem to be pretty well made. However, we're going to make our own necks, but I'm using this for reference. Let's get a couple measurements here. Let's go up here to the nut. The nut on this one is 42.75. 42.75 and divide that by 2, that's 21.375. So that's where we need to be, 21.37. Dead on it, 21.37. This is a little tool that I bought down at Harbor Freight. Seems to be pretty daggone accurate. So we'll make 21.37 there. There's other ways of doing this. You could spin this around and do it this way if you wanted to. And then double check your measurement. Double check your measurement. All right, there's our nut. Now let's do, oh, I keep turning that thing off. Let's do 12th fret. We have 52. So 52, that's 26. At the 12th fret, 0.01. I need that point. I just missed it. 0.01. When you're dealing in these little minutes, it's really hard to get it dead on. So let's do our trick here. Let's go this direction. Measurement look right? Yep, it does. Let's do the same thing on this side. And we double checked it, and that is correct there. Now that we have those 2 points, we have a way to get our edge of fretboard. So now we have one side. I'm going to do it from this side, guys, so I can see my marks. There's our fretboard. Fretboard sorted. All right. This is a template that I made for a florid rose and for a pickup. So now we need to get this template, and I've put marks, centerline marks, so that we can line everything up. I held that the wrong way for you, but there's centerline marks there and there and there, and at the ends. We know that our bridge, our saddles, are right in this area right here, and I've marked it. I use the Tremolo system. We know with the little bit of setback that's required for the posts, that adjusting saddle is going to be dead centered right there. So I'm going to take this template, I'm going to put it on this rendering, and I'm going to get center line on everything. And then we're just going to mark it out. And there we have our tremolo. Okay, what I'm doing here is I just went in and did some measuring off of a guitar that I have, that I've made in the past, and I realized my template for my Floyd Rose is probably a little too big. And that didn't change anything other than the hole size. Yeah, I really wanted triple humbuckers in this thing, so I'm gonna go back and do another quick measurement to make sure I've got everything where it's supposed to be. Constantly making sure that I have these all lined up. Once again, we're off this center line. That is the crucial thing. Now, I'm just kind of going to connect the dots with the lines here. Now that I've got that, I see that what I want to do is I want to get this measurement here between these two, and I want that to match over on the other side. So I'm going to move that back pickup, that bridge pickup, I'm going to move it forward that much, because I want the spacing to be the same, plus I want to leave as much room as I can between this. That's going to give us a little bit more beef there, so that we don't have any flexing that may come from the trim low. We don't have our studs and stuff have good solid piece of wood behind it to keep it from wanting to tear loose. Not that I've ever really had that problem with Floyd's, but I have seen guys talk about their posts and stuff not having enough, like some of the older first generation Floyd's. They put them too close and they tore out. Where the posts become wobbly and they had to go and have some work done. They had to have the cavity filled. And what they do is they just drill out the original post holes with a bigger size hole, and then they put like a piece of oak or hickory or you know, hardwood, maple, not maple, but mahogany, and that gives it something to bite into to keep it from tearing out. Now, some of you purists out there will say, why in the world are you even putting a Floyd Rose on a guitar or whatever? I love them. Everything I have pretty much has a Floyd Rose on it, with the exception of one Charvel. They are not hard to set up. They are not hard to keep in tune like some people say. It's a matter of getting it set up right in the first place. Once you realize that it is basically a teeter-totter between spring tension and string tension, you'll realize that fulcrum is right here. More tension you put that way, that tremolo goes this way. More tension you tighten the strings, goes that way. So what you have to do is you have to fine tune that thing to where the spring and string tension, and it'll come back every time. The only issue that I've ever had is with cheap Floyd Rose knockoffs. And what happens is there's screws right here that you tighten, you fine tune your strings in with. The only problem I've ever had is those aren't machined real well and they rock back and forth, which, I mean, it doesn't take much and you're, you know, a little bit out on your tuning. It sounds horrible. So the only issues I've ever had is with cheap materials. So don't chintz out. If you're going to do a Floyd Rose, buy a legit, or Schaller. Schaller makes some good stuff. There's tons of good stuff out there, but don't just run and say, oh, it all sucks because of a couple of cheap knockoffs. All right, that's my little promo for the day. I'll shut up now and get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so we've got this set up now. We've got our Floyd Rose, we've got our pickup configuration. This is going to be a double, and it's a stack. So we'll have double or humbuckers all the way through. Let's see. We know we're at the 12th fret. We want to get to the 16th fret. Let's see what that looks like. So here we are. There's 15, there's 16. So let's see what our measurement back to 16 is. I'm not cheating, or I'm not copyright infringing on whoever made this neck. These measurements don't change. Because we picked this scale length, this is going to be standard. I don't care whose guitar you pick up. 24 frets on a 25.5 inch scale, those frets are going to line up there. The only way they wouldn't is if it was a multi-scale, and there's some guys that use like a 24 3/4 and a 25.5, and there's all kinds of configurations, but this is not Now, if I was sitting down drawing this headstock out and doing all the measurements and looking at the cup or the back of the neck, then I could say, yep, you probably have a valid point that I am just copycatting what they do. We're not doing that. I'm just using that as reference points so that we can figure out what we're doing here. Now, with that being said, we know at the 16th fret, that's a good jumping off point to go from neck to body on the top. Normally, this is not a normal guitar. This is a little bit different, and you'll see what we're going to do here. It's kind of wild. So let's do something a little different. All right, back to what we were doing. So here we have fictitious looking end of the guitar. It won't be that long. I'm sure it won't be that long. Yeah, now we need to, back to what we were talking about. We don't need to worry, because this is a neck through guitar. We don't need to worry about having to support the neck and coming up to the 16th fret where our body begins. We can actually come down here. So let's get a measurement off of this 16th fret. And let's go back 2 inches, and this will be where our body begins. All right, so that's where we're going to start. Now, I've already predetermined what we're going to do, or what I'm going to build. This is for my GGBO 2022 build, so I already have a really good idea of what I'm going to do. What I need is, I put that away and I need it. I need to come down